Hello everyone, and welcome to part 2 of cleaning the Ruger Mark IV 2245 Lite. And I have some answers. And before we get started, I just want to say, please like and subscribe. And hit that little notification bell so that you know when I upload another video. And in the description below, I am going to leave a link to 4 different people's channels. One of them is a gentleman by the name of Paul Harrell, Harrell. You may have heard of him. You may have even seen his channel. He's got a lot of subscribers. He does a lot of gun videos, and he's very knowledgeable when it comes to guns. And I'm going to leave a link to his video of how he is cleaning one of his ARs and what he was taught in the military. So, and all these are going to be links to these guys' videos of what, how they're cleaning their firearms, and you'll be surprised. You'll be absolutely shocked. But I want to say what I did is this morning when I got up, I called Ruger and I talked to a young lady who answered the phone, and I asked her the question. I said, I just have a question about cleaning my Ruger Mark IV pistol. And she asked, what model is it? She asked the serial number, and I gave her that, and she pulled it up. She goes, oh, okay, yeah, I see exactly. I know what you have. What's your question? And I said, how do you clean the anodized coating on the receiver? How do you clean that from, carbon, gunpowder, residue, carbon residue just from shooting it? How do you wipe it down? How do you clean it? What do you use? Because in the handbook, it talks about breaking it down, and it talks about what you should, how you should, what to clean and what to lube and not to do this and not to do that. But it doesn't say anything, not one word, on the fact that this is anodized aluminum and what to use on this to clean it without destroying it. And she said, you know what? That is an excellent question, and you're the first person that ever called in here and asked that question. She goes, I don't know the answer to that. She goes, let me put you on hold and get to one of our engineers that we have here and see if I can get an answer for you. So she put me on hold, and then she came back and she said, the engineer says the best thing that he can think of, because we don't deal in cleaners, the best thing he can think of is to go to, he goes, I can't be name specific, basically go to a place that sells tires and custom aluminum rims for your car. He goes, they will have a section of how to clean those aluminum rims, and some of those rims should be anodized, and they should have, chemicals and stuff there for cleaning their anodized car rims, and then that should work on the anodized aluminum that's on the firearm. That's the best answer that I can give you. And I said, okay. I said, because I'm surprised Ruger hasn't come out with a video like they've had with other videos letting you know about different things. She goes, I'm going to make a memo of that, and I'm going to send that to our headquarters, because that's a very good question. And I had no answer. Even the engineer had to think about that and look stuff up. So here they are. These are the people who make the firearm, and they don't even know how to clean it. So, and then she had told me, she said, but I will tell you there is a few things that I do know. You're worried about that. Be very careful with what you do use, because I had a gentleman a little while ago, he called in, he was cleaning his gun while he was eating his lunch. And he had it wasn't this fire. It was like a blued firearm that they had, and he was having a salad and he spilled some salad dressing on it, some like Italian dressing or something like that on there, and he didn't even notice it, and he was busy, cleaning stuff, and then he got tied up with doing this and that, and then he got back to it. When he got back to it, he saw this dried stuff on there, and he went and he wiped it off, and when he wiped it off, it left a stain and went all the way down to the metal, took the bluing right off, of his slide and all that stuff, or barrel, whatever it is, She says it took the bluing off. She said, and after him discussing that, I told him, I said, well, if it was that Italian dressing has vinegar in it. If you put vinegar on a blued, you put vinegar on anything that's been blued, it'll take the bluing off if you leave it on there too long. Don't put vinegar on it. And that's what she told me. She says, that's about the best that I can give you. Don't use anything very harsh, and just go to a place that sells rims and tires, aluminum rims and tires, and they should be able to help you out. So I said, okay, thank you for your time. Then I went and I called Tandemcross, which is a company who makes upgrades for this firearm, the Pt.2, the Browning Buckmark, and a few other firearms. And they make a lot of their parts are all anodized aluminum upgrades for those firearms. And I asked the gentleman who answered the phone there, I asked him the same question. How do you clean the anodized aluminum parts without destroying the finish? And he said, ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. He goes, hold on a minute. So he put me on hold and came back and said, you can take our parts off or out of your firearm, and you can wash them down if they're, like really cruddy, with, powder residue and all this kind of stuff, and you're trying to get everything clean and nice and shiny again like it was. He goes, take them off and put them in a bath and wash them with Dawn dishwashing detergent. That'd be the safest thing. So what they did is a quick Google search. So now you have a firearms company who makes a firearm and doesn't know how to clean it. And then you have a parts company that makes aluminum anodized parts that are upgrades for firearms that you can buy, and they don't know how to clean them either. So that just shows the marketing that's out there. So now, the things that I was told, the next place that I went was to my local gun shop. And it just happened that all the guys there wasn't anybody there. And the guys were standing around, cleaning stuff up, straightening up and all that. And I came up, and it happened to be one of the guys that was there, happened to be the gunsmith. And I talked to him. And he told me, because I brought this with me. I had this in my, coat pocket. And I brought it with me. And I showed it to him. He knew exactly. As soon as he saw it, he goes, why are you carrying that around? I said, oh, because, I have a question about this. And I told him the same thing. How do I clean this without ruining the anodized coloring on this aluminum? I don't know what to use, and I can't get an answer from Ruger. I can't get an answer for anybody. They're not sure. And he said, come with me. And he took me over to the shelf, and he showed me this. And I told him, I said, well, isn't that hot? Like, Hoppy's number 9? He said, oh, no. He says, this is almost all natural. And then he brought me over and showed me a firearm he just got done working on that had all kinds of anodized parts on it. And he goes, I just cleaned this gun. Got done, I fixed it, and I got done cleaning it up and all that for the customer. And this is what I use on different parts when I clean stuff and I'm, putting stuff together, because it works good, because it's not too, aggressive. It's easy to work with, and it'll get the job done of what I need. It'll even clean wood I could put it on wood and all that stuff. So it's basically a multi-purpose do everything. He says, you can use that. And I brought up the fact that I'd wipe this down with isopropyl alcohol, 91%. And he said, well, you can do that. The only problem with that is that's not going to get it very clean because it dries too fast. He says the outside, it might get that. He says, but if you're going to, you want to clean the inside and all here, isopropyl alcohol, you put that on, a cleaning pad, you start cleaning with that, the alcohol is going to evaporate out of it and it's basically just going to be wet because of the water that's in it. So it's basically you're just wiping it with water after a period of time. The outside is one thing, but it's still not going to clean it if you really want to get it spotless. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use isopropyl alcohol for the outside, and I'm going to use the ballistol for the inside and cleaning that bore and that breech. And that's all gold because it's gold anodized. You can see the gold anodized here. And then I'll be able to tell. And since it's on the inside, I'm not worried about scratches or anything wearing off because you can't see that. I'm worried about the outside. And I don't want to put this in a bath of Dawn dishwashing detergent to clean it for the simple reason is this is a dovetail, this rail is screwed on, and this front sight is screwed on. If I get anything in there underneath of that, because water and soap and stuff can get underneath of that, I may not be able to get it out and it may not dry the way it should dry, and then I can start to get rust. So I don't want to do that either. I want something I could wipe on. He says, and any anodized aluminum cleaners you got are all going to be creams that are going to, buff on, and then you're going to have to wash it. You're going to have to rinse them off with water. He says, so you're not going to want that. So use the ballistol, and then you can use the isopropyl alcohol for the outside if you wish. So what I did is I came home, and I pulled up the material safety data sheets. This is the material safety data sheet for ballistol. And I'll hold it up. You can pause it. You can write it down so that you know what's in it. There's the ingredients, the following ingredients. Mineral oil, and then those other ones. So now you know what ingredients are in ballistol. This is the ingredients for Hoppy's number 9. Try to get them all in here. If you can see, okay, my thumb's up here, okay. Hopefully you can see them all. If not, the first one is acetone, ethanol, kerosene, oleic acid, propane, and then you should be able to see the rest. And this is the end right here, so you're getting the whole thing. And that's the amounts that's in it. So there it is. You can pause that, and you have that. So that is the material, that is the ingredients that's in Hoppy's number 9. So you have the ingredients for ballistol and Hoppy's number 9. And like I told you before in another video, this lubricating oil, all this is mineral oil. That's all that this is. It's the same mineral oil that you can get at the drugstore. Food grade mineral oil that you would put on a baby's butt. It's the same thing. And you can get a big old bottle of it. And then you could just refill this when you need it. So that's what's going on with that. And like I say, this, I'm not worried about the inside because here's the bolt. The bolt goes in like this. And it's going to be riding like this every time you shoot. Boom, 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 boom. It's going to be sliding back and forth. You can hear it. So that's going to get all scratched up anyway. So I'm not worried about the inside of here. That's what I'll use to test that ballistol to see if there's a difference. You'll see the difference between the bolt wear and the ballistol wearing off the finish. because the bolt won't wear off this gold on the bottom. And I'll put ballistol on this and see if it wears off the finish. If it starts to turn silver. So, and this you won't see. I'm only worried about the outside. That's why I'll use alcohol for the outside, ballistol for the inside, and to clean the bore. Now, another thing. To clean this and to clean the barrel and all that stuff, you're going to want to use a rod. Unless you want to go from, the front end and go the opposite way, which I would not recommend. I wouldn't do that. Not if you want to keep that muzzle crown, real nice and sharp and clean so that you have good accuracy. So what I ordered is this cleaning rod. And yes, it's a Hoppe's Elite, but it's the only one I could find that was 8 inches long. And at a reasonable price. Really, I wish I could have found a 9-inch long one. Because this is 8 inches, and I'll show you, and I'll tell you why. But I want to show you that here from the very end of this ruler, you can see I start at the very end, and it comes down, and that's 8 inches. It's 8 inches at the tip. On the other end is in centimeters. For you, those of you who may be watching on the metric systems, it's 20.5 centimeters long. You can see that right there. 20.5 centimeters long. So that's the rod length that you need. Now to show you, this is a plastic, just a plastic jag. I'm not going to put a pad on it. And I'm going to show you, when you go to clean this, and you want to go from the breech end, I'll use this. I'll put a patch on this, and I'll be able to clean the inside, wipe the inside of this and all that with a patch, like a larger patch, and wipe the inside. But then when I go in to the barrel, go in through the breech, I can go slowly, and it's plastic, and I'll go slowly. This is a coated rod, and here I'm at the very end. I'm hitting the very end of the receiver, and you can see the plastic sticking out, the jag sticking out, but it's not all the way out. So what I would do is I would put your brush on, slide the brush through, and if you don't see the metal part of the brush, or the entire brush isn't out, I wouldn't pull it back in. I would unscrew it and pull it out. And then I would pull the rod out. And if that doesn't work, because there's too much inside and you have to unscrew it, then I wouldn't use, I would just clean with a patch and try to get a longer rod. Because I can use this for my bolt action rifle, just to clean the breech end of the bolt action rifle and clean the inside from where the bolt rides and all that, instead of using the big long, rod. So that's it. Try to get a 9-inch rod if you can. That would be best. But your next best bet is 8 inches. That's about as, if you want to have stuff that you can afford. But anyway, that's it. You don't need to see me cleaning it. It's going to be clean like you clean everything else. You just clean it. I already did a real long video on cleaning. You just clean whatever dirt you can find in here. Use your little cotton buds and all that kind of stuff. Clean this as best as you can with the ballistol. And you clean the bolt face. And if it comes time where I have to take this apart to give it a really deep clean, I'll do a video on that. But you can find a video on how to take this bolt down completely and clean all the grooves and all that. And there's a spring underneath of here that is your, what's it called? The firing pin spring. that spring can get corroded and get, clogged with, dirt and fouling and all that stuff. And it breaks real easy. So I would get some extra springs to have and at least check it if you're starting to get a lot of problems. Check it and all that kind of stuff. So, all right. Thank you for watching. And comment and let me know what you think. And if this was a good informative video for you. And because I would like to make my videos better. And it's all about my preferences. And it's about facts. Scientific facts don't lie. Follow the science. So that you don't harm your firearms, because you can harm your firearms very easily with using the wrong chemicals to clean them. So, okay, we'll see you next time, and have a good rest of your day and a good rest of your weekend, and keep on shooting. All right, bye-bye now.